Hello, I'm Rebecca Frazier. I'm going to be talking to you briefly today about what I've learned so far in this class when it comes to myself and God and others. Um, we'll start with myself. In the first week of the class, doing the test, I was pretty self-aware. I know that I'm a people person and I enjoy people. The only thing that surprised me in that first week would have been that it says that I like large crowds, which I don't unless I'm very familiar with all the people. I tend to be in the background and observe more in large crowds. That was the only surprising thing. Week two, however, has still gotten me looking at myself and how I see the world. I work for the Department of Corrections, and watching that movie and seeing the guard and how his perspective of the world was and how there wasn't change really got me to self-reflect on how I view the world, being with the department for as long as I have and having that different view than other people that may not see that. But I did find that I had compassion for all the grace and justice that the offender ended up having throughout the movie. So I was torn between the biblical side of me where I saw all the grace and the justice, and then the professional side of me that works in the Department of Corrections and sees how a lot of people get stuck in that pattern of criminal behavior and struggle to get out of it. So I think for me, there's a fine line between helping those and having justice and mercy for those, and enabling them to create the same patterns over and over again. And then for God, I have found that I'm still learning to forgive. I lost my first child in 2008, and I've struggled knowing that it's not God's fault. God allows everything to happen for a reason, and knowing that He's going to use my life and that my story for good things. I have found that I still have some distrust. So when we were reading Who Are You, when it got to the part on page 33 about he's not enough to trust, I found that hit home harder than I thought it was, because I'm still learning that although I know in my heart that God didn't do it to be cruel or did it to be revengeful, and He just allowed it to happen for a greater purpose in my life, I find that I am still struggling with the two getting torn. And then depending on others and people letting me down, I think is what happens is I am trying to put God in the world of people, and He's so much more than that, and I just need to learn the difference between the two. So I'm working through that and praying more and seeking the Bible more is how I'm going to approach that. And then for others, I have found this week my grandpa got moved to hospice, so it's been a real struggle for me because I was really close to him, and so I found to be more mindful. This is a good week to talk about relationships and where our failures are with the experiences that I'm going through at the moment. I do find that I try to put a lot of effort into them, but I get disappointed when the effort isn't reciprocated. Although if the relationship's important enough to me, I will continue to make sure that I keep continuing to work on that relationship. And then making sure that I'm listening and hearing people. I have found in my life that I don't feel like I'm heard. The only person that I feel like ever really, really listened to me was my mom, and she passed away in 2008 as well. And so I make sure that I do that for others, because like the Bible says, do unto you as you would like others to do, or something like that. Sorry, I'm not sure. And then making sure that I'm not failing. I liked exercise 19 on page 104 of the relationships book. It talked about learning where we failed and paying attention to where we failed in relationships that didn't work, so that way we can learn from our mistakes. I really liked that, because I feel like sometimes we're just so busy in life that we don't take the time to see where we failed and self-reflect on what we could have done differently. So that is another thing I want to take a look at, see how I can strengthen my relationships in the future and get to know what I can do differently. And so it's been a great journey so far, this last 3 weeks of class, and I'm looking forward to what else I can learn and take from it, as well as grow in my relationship with God. Thank you. God bless you.